10 Shocking Facts About Burkina Faso. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. The video we are presenting today promises to be informative and educational. The West African country of Burkina Faso is the nation toward which our searchlight will be directed today. We're looking at a large, landlocked country squeezed right in the midst of Mali, Niger, Benin, Togo, and Côte d'Ivoire, all in West Africa. Much of Burkina Faso's landscape is dominated by savanna, just as the case is with its neighbors. Beyond the newspaper headlines and what's in the broadcast media, how much facts do you know about this African nation? In this video, we have at least 10 shocking facts about Burkina Faso that you might not be aware of before now. 10. What is in a name? Will it be shocking to learn the meaning of country's name? Well, let's start by reminding you, or informing you if you haven't known before, that people from, or in Burkina Faso, are not called Burkina Fasoans, Burkinese, or any of such, but they're known as Burkinabe. Still on nomenclature, the name Burkina Faso means land of the honest men. In other words, the country is expected to be filled with incorruptible men. That also agrees with the meaning of the name of the capital city, Ouagadougou. It's a French adaptation of the Ouagadougou, a native name meaning where people get honor and respect. Well, we just hope the men in the country's leadership positions and other prominent people and the Burkinabe masses will continue to live up to the meaning of their names and remain honorable not just in name, but in conduct, to be regarded as honest and incorruptible. 9. Burkina Faso was a French colony. This is another shocking fact about Burkina Faso. In the late 19th century, the partitioning of Africa by European powers competing for control of West Africa favored France, giving it total control over the country. In 1896, Burkina Faso became a French protectorate. It was then known as Upper Volta. In 1919, it was recognized as a separate constituent territory of French West Africa. In 1958, it became an autonomous republic and eventually gained independence from France in 1960. In 1984, it changed its name to Burkina Faso. This history explains why French is the lingua franca in the country, and why the names of the country and its capital are French adaptations as mentioned. 8. One world's youngest nations. The median age in Burkina Faso, according to a source, is 17, while others put it at 18.6. Take either of both figures, Burkina Faso is still considered one of the 10 youngest nations in the world. In fact, more than 40% of the population is younger than 15. What a youthful and vibrant nation in West Africa. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso is a highly fertile country. It has the 9th highest fertility in the whole world. Women there have an average of 6 children, for the sake of statistics. Consequently, the population has increased by 500% in the past half-century. Though it's still underpopulated compared to the UK, which is of similar size but has 4 times greater population, the country's population growth rate is way higher than the world's average, actually more than double. 7. Home to 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Another interesting fact about Burkina Faso is that it boasts 3 impressive UNESCO World Heritage Sites. One of them is the nearly 1,000-year-old ruins of Lorapani. It is located near the country's borders with Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Togo. It has been the best preserved of 10 fortresses in the Lobi region since the time of the Trans-Saharan gold trade. Another one is the ancient ferrous metallurgy sites. Dating back to the 8th century, it's the oldest surviving evidence of the history of iron production in Burkina Faso. Then comes the W. Arli Penjiri complex. This transnational property jointly belonged to Niger, Burkina Faso, and the Republic of Benin. It is made up of aquatic, semi-aquatic, and terrestrial ecosystems. 6. Part of the Mossi Kingdom. Did you know that Burkina Faso used to be part of the Mossi Kingdom? The Mossi people arrived in the region around the 11th century and established 5 independent kingdoms. They ruled Tenkodogo, Yatenga, Gourma, Zandoma, and Ouagadougou kingdoms until the end of the 19th century. They called the land Mogo, which translates to Country of the Mossi. Can you see why the modern-day Burkina Faso is dominated by the Mossi ethnic group? The Mossi repelled the European slave traders and other rivals, and were in control of the region for centuries until their kingdom fell to the French colonial masters. The French expedition was led by Captain Paul Voulez, a real-life Kurtz figure. The captain was brutal. He stuck victims' heads on poles, burned children alive, and hanged up soldiers who displeased him while their feet became food for hungry hyenas. He refused to be reined in by his superiors, proving his troop that he was no longer French but a black chief who has founded his own empire. 5. National colors and symbols. This fact may not be shocking in a conventional sense, but it is striking in its symbolism. Consider the flag of Burkina Faso. It's a combination of the national colors, namely red, green, and yellow. So the flag is designed with striped red and green with a yellow star in the middle. This is quite symbolic and meaningful. While yellow represents Burkina Faso's mineral wealth, red symbolizes the country's revolutionary struggle and green represents hope and abundance. The central star stands for Sankara's revolutionary principles. Thus, its coat of arms is the white stallion, horse being its national symbol. If you are an international soccer enthusiast, you at this point would have been reminded of the Stallions. That's the country's national football team nickname. They're called Les Étalons, or the Stallions of Burkina Faso. In fact, the most common surname in the country is Ouédraogo, which means stallion. 4. African Che Guevara's country. One of the shocking facts about Burkina Faso is connected with Thomas Sankara, a Burkinabe military officer. He was the Marxist revolutionary and Pan-Africanist who ruled the country for 4 years from 1983 to 1987. He is often referred to as the African Che Guevara, thanks to his radical left-wing policies. He got to power through a coup in 1983 and was deposed and mysteriously assassinated in 1987. The ill-fated revolutionary president alienated the French, calling them neo-colonialists. He told Burkina Faso's creditors that he wouldn't pay them back, explaining that they simply played the game and lost. He radically condemned African leaders for their corruption. Practicing what he preached, he ditched the official Mercedes for a Renault 4, took out a $2,000 mortgage to buy a house, and cycled around Ouagadougou on a rusty old bicycle. Yet, the idealistic revolutionary was ultimately killed by soldiers close to him. 3. Three principal rivers. Burkina Faso has 3 principal rivers, all of which converge in Ghana and drain into Lake Volta. So if the river Volta flows into Lake Volta, the country is rightly called the Upper Volta. The rivers are the Black Volta, or Mohun, the Red Volta, or Nazinon, and the White Volta, or Nakambe. 2. An unusual geological formation. The Sindou Peaks are one of the country's most mesmerizing sights and most unusual geographical formations. Formed millions of years ago, these sand cones were once underwater. As years passed by, the rocks were polished and shaped into their iconic shapes by the elements. Today, there are a handful of excellent hiking trails around the sites. 1. Home to Africa's least urbanized society. The country is one of Africa's least urbanized societies. Around 80% of the Burkinabe population are subsistent farmers. Nearly all of their crops or livestock are used to maintain the farmers' basic needs, including taking care of their families, leaving little or no surplus for commercial purposes. Farming here has also been plagued by infestation by locusts, catastrophic droughts, and desertification, among other woes. The fatal effects of U.S. cotton subsidies, which eventually undercut Burkinabe farmers, are doing a lot of harm to the country's attempts to urbanize. Isn't it great to learn this much about Burkina Faso? Please tell us in your thoughtful comments what you think about this land of incorruptible men with exciting youthful energy. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.